What's up, guys? I'm not sure if I did a comparison video, kind of just strictly features or cosmetic, like exterior differences between the Generation 2 HDP50, which is the orange one in the middle of the screen, and the HDP50 Generation 1s, which are these ones. So I bought these, I think, June of 2024. And I had both of these. I got them on pretty good price at Big Five. And then I bought the Generation 2. At the time, there was no release date or anything for the Generation 2. It was just more of like a stay tuned and find out kind of approach to that, because they kept saying, oh yeah, they'll be out in the summertime, and then summertime came out, and then they never came out. These never came out, and then like they didn't start showing up in the US until I think like October or November. So I bought one of these because I had a coupon from Big Five, and I primarily like to buy stuff locally because I've had packages delivered to the wrong houses and a bunch of dumb shit with any other shipping company that I use. So I tend to just buy things like this in person at stores, just because of shipping issues. So I bought these two with coupons. They were like $100 each. I've modded them. The differences I've seen, obviously from the outside, these were not orange, or sorry, these were orange, just like this one, but I dyed them with RIT dye. And these are speed loaders. So these don't normally come on the Generation 1. So this is, two Gen 1s, Gen 2. The differences are the texture of the handle. So the Gen 1s, they have this like kind of it's kind of just like a matte finish. Not really too great of a texture. It has a little bit of ridges on the back for a grip for your hand, like your palm, but it's not that pronounced. It's kind of flat. This is okay. It's not the best. The Generation 2, it's very similar to the TR68 or HDR68, the grip. So it has that square texture on it, and it has larger like ridges on the front and back of the handle. So you can see this will grab into your fingers and hand a lot better, the front and back. Because yeah, the ridges on the Gen 2 are a lot more pronounced than the Gen 1 handle. And the Gen 2 has the prepared to protect emblem on it, which is basically just Umarex, T4E, and P2P. T4E is Umarex, P2P is Umarex, prepared to protect. T4E is training for engagement. That's from Umarex. I don't know why they changed it. I just don't know why they do stuff. Some of the stuff they do, but yeah, the Gen 1 says T4E on the handle, and the Gen 2 says prepared to protect on the handle. It's just a branding, I guess. So the other difference is, that P2P and T4E is kind of more visible on different parts of the launchers. So the slide, P2P, T4E, the way that the slide is designed is slightly different. It has the ridges right here on the Gen 2. It doesn't have that on the Gen 1. Ridges are about the same on the back. And then it's kind of the same on the front, or on the right side of the launcher. The Gen 1 has this like flattened part right here. The Gen 2 does not have that flattened part right here. And then the Gen 2 has the ridges just like the other side. And the Gen 1, it has a warning label right here. And the Gen 2 does not have that warning label. I think it's down here on the trigger, on the bottom side of the trigger. And the Gen 1 doesn't have anything on the bottom side of the trigger guard. So the warning on the Gen 1's over here, and the warning on the Gen 2 is right here. It just says it's not a toy and like point it in a safe direction, stuff like that. Don't be a jackass when you use it. So the other thing is that the Gen 2, the grip right here, it has a pretty good like finger groove for your hand. on both sides. So the Gen 1, it just kind of has this little like I don't know, recessed area. It still feels okay. Like I like the Gen 1s. The only thing I've had problems with was with the factory detent. Mine on both of these, factory detent was snapped in like 80 shots. So then for a while, I didn't want to spend like $20 on a detent. And I was searching and searching and searching Google, Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, bunch of random crap, replacement detents for the Gen 1. And I stumbled upon Less Lethal for Dummies PEX pipe detent. So you can get 1/2 inch PEX pipe. It's like basically like PVC pipe, like a different type of PVC pipe. And you can cut that and then get a step drill and a Dremel bit, cut it and shape it to fit behind the barrel, and you can make your own detent. And these both have that detent in it, and I probably shot these with that detent. Various size rounds, steel, aluminum, nylon balls, large bore 1/2 inch balls, small bore 1/2 inch balls. They haven't broken or anything. The PEX pipe detent, it's very, very durable. So that was a big win. And I have like a 10-foot section of that pipe, and you only need like 2 inches of it or so, like a 1/2 inch of that pipe to make a detent. So I can make like 100 detents if I wanted to. This one is the factory detent. I've shot like 450 rounds through it. It has not cracked on me or broken yet. The balls still stay in the barrel. So that was a huge plus for the Gen 2. So kind of getting off track, but yeah, the ridges on the front, this part specifically is not on the Gen 1. The grip is better on the Gen 2. They both have fiber optic sights. Your target acquisition, they're both using fiber optic sights. It's kind of a small detail, but the Gen 1 has these little like I don't know what this is, like fake slide locking stuff on it. This is all just one piece. This Gen 2 doesn't have that. These little like lines right here doesn't have it on the Gen 2. That's just a small little detail. They both have the pressure activation little button that pops out when there's pressure in them. The Gen 2 has the pierce cap that you can degas. So when you puncture this, it kind of like, it moves sort of. And then when you want to degas the marker, you can either press the button back here, or you can twist this and it'll release the gas. And then you can loosen this up. Also, this is like a square shape, so you can more easily tighten it down and loosen it up. And you don't need like a special wrench or anything to loosen up the Gen 2 one, like how you do sometimes with the Gen 1 cap or any Gen 1 T4E products. They all have the same kind of like sunburst shaped cap. And they give you an Allen wrench, but who's realistically going to carry an Allen wrench with them just to tighten this down and load it up and stuff? And they do make like bump caps, third-party Wixon T4E caps, where you can put this on and it kind of extends the handle a little bit. But it has this star shape on that bump striker thing. So you can just, twist that whole handle extension. You can twist that whole thing and this will come off easily. And they also make like wrenches that you can put around the outside. But I mean, this is like much better. I have had an issue with the Gen 2 cap where it seemed to kind of like leak a little bit. So every once in a while, I'll put 1 drop of oil down this part and just kind of like work it in. And when I say once in a while, like depending if you use it a lot, maybe like once a month. If you don't use this very much, probably once a year. If you don't really shoot your launcher that often, say you do like one weekend, you'll shoot 2 CO2s through it, and you do that like once every 3 or 4 months. You probably don't need to oil this at all. probably just 1 drop a year. You'll probably be good not oiling it, maybe 1 drop every 2 years. Yeah, so fiber optic sights are the same. The pierce cap is better. The detent is better on the Generation 2. The texture grip is better on the Generation 2. And when I bought these, they were 7.5 joules out the box. They did not have a restrictor in the handle, and they had a valve block in here. This is this like big piece of metal that's restricting a lot of airflow. So I had to take both of these apart, remove that valve block, and then once you remove the valve block, if you just run it open, fully open, you can get like 8 shots out of a CO2 cartridge. And your first shot's probably in that, depending what size, what weight of ammo you're using, your first shot's probably like with the steel ball bearing, like 26 joules. With an aluminum ball, probably like 21 joules. Your next shot will be like 15 joules if you're using aluminum ball. Your next shot will be like 12 joules, and it just decreases really fast because you're just gushing air out the front. So yeah, you'll get like, this can hold 6 rounds. You basically get to shoot those 6 rounds and then you're done. Like you can't really expect to have a second tube of ammo if you just run this fully open. It will function that way with nothing in here and with the valve block removed. It will function perfectly fine. You just really lose your shot count. So this one was 13 joules out the box stock. It came 13 joules, and what they did is they pulled the valve block out and they put a restrictor in the handle. The restrictor is the shiny disc thingy in here. You can see it down there. So this restricts the airflow. And what that does is, instead of getting like 20 or 25 joules on your first shot and only getting 6 shots, which is valve block removed, no restrictor in handle, what that does for this one with that shiny disc thingy in there is it will shoot about 12 to 15 or 12 to 18 rounds of these, these tubes. So you'll be able to reload this 3 times. Most likely twice, 2.5. But you can definitely get 2 magazines or 2 tubes worth of ammo out of it because this restrictor is in the handle. And your speeds won't be as high as this, but you're getting more shots. So there's a trade-off. You either have to have insane power and only get 6 shots, and your first 2 shots are the strongest, and then the rest of them get pretty weak, or you have consistent power, and you'll get, I think aluminum balls will get like 14 or 15 joules when I'm using a CO2 cart, and I'll get that 14 or 15 joules for like 6 shots, and then I could reload and then shoot again another 6 rounds of aluminum balls, and I'll get like 13 joules, 12 joules, 12 joules, 11 joules, 11 joules, 10 joules, and it kind of goes down slowly. But this, you just get 1 magazine, and then you're pretty much done with your air source, which is a 12-gram cartridge, if you're using this like the normal way, without putting giant HPA air tanks and airlines and all that crazy stuff that you can do to these, because they're very customizable. So yeah, with one of these things, if you pull the valve block out, and there's no restrictor, you'll get like 6 or 8 shots out of one of these. 7.5 joule version Gen 1. 13 joule version Gen 2, you can probably get 12 to 18 shots out of one of these if you leave this thing alone and don't do anything to it. If you decide to remove this CO2 restrictor, you just need a flathead screwdriver. It needs to reach all the way in there and turn it. You can pop that out. This one, because it has threads, you can't use it in this, and you can't use it in this because it has threads, and I've tried it. It doesn't work. So if you take that out and you run one of these, you'll get 6 to 8 shots just like this one, because there's nothing restricting the air flow. So this will perform on par, the same as this. when I ran this with no restrictor in the handle and I had it hooked up to a big old CO2 tank and an airline, and that CO2 tank was full, I was able to get 30 joules out of this a couple times with steel ball bearings. And then it kind of leveled around 26 joules. And if you're using a big tank, or if you have like an 88 gram or a 90 gram CO2, you can put a tank adapter and have like a giant freaking air source attached to this. Or if you have like a 13 CI HPA tank, you can do the same thing. But if you use the restrictor, unless you have like a 1100 psi output HPA tank and this restrictor in there, your joules will be like, I don't have that set up, 1100 psi output HPA tank, so I don't know what it would do with this restrictor and that 1100 psi output. But if I use my 800 psi output HPA tank and I have this restrictor in here, this thing gets like 8 joules or 7. So there are things I can do to this without opening it up to change the velocities that I shoot it. So yeah, if you're using this thing and you have this in here, with aluminum balls, you get about 15 joules. With nylon balls or rubber balls, you'll get like 13 with the nylons, like 11 with rubber balls. But rubber balls are crap, so you wouldn't want to use rubber balls for anything, not even for just target practice. If you have rubber balls, just throw them in the trash or shoot them and not care what happens to them because they're garbage. One thing I noticed is that the speed loaders, I bought these from Alternate Arms Self-Defense. He's a YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know who he is. They were $20. They didn't come with Picatinny rails, which is fine. I didn't want the Picatinny rails because realistically, I'm not going to have a flashlight mounted like down here, way off from the frame of the trigger and stuff. So I didn't want that. So what these do is you can load up 6 rounds in here, and then you can load up 5 or 6 in here. I think 5 in here. And then shoot your 6 rounds. This follower will go all the way down. You can pull this back out, flip this over, and load those rounds in there and pop this back, and you'll have another 5 rounds. That's basically the only way to reload these quickly. One thing I noticed with my speed loaders, a couple different companies make these. I just bought mine from Alternate Arms Self-Defense so I could, support his channel and stuff. These are 3D printed. He makes them himself. I think Home Defense 24 and a couple other places sell speed loaders. And I can use the aluminum balls on my Gen 2 and they work fine with this Alternate Arms Self-Defense speed loader. I think because they're small, they line up pretty good. But if I try the orange nylon balls or the steel ball bearings with this speed loader, it doesn't feed them. And I think it's because the holes aren't lined up perfectly. Because this hole has to meet up with this one. And that's where all the magic happens. So you can see that these trigger guards are kind of shaped a little bit different, and I think that's the problem with the Gen 1 speed loaders. I don't have an Home Defense 24 speed loader, and I don't have any other ones aside from these speed loaders. So yeah, if you have a Gen 1 stuff, or if you're looking to get a speed loader for your Gen 2, you might want to make sure that it's Gen 2 compatible. But yeah, this will work, but they work for like the small T4E quick access balls, and they work for the aluminum alien play rounds pretty good, but they do not work for my Gen 2. They don't work with the Lambid store from Amazon nylon balls, and they don't work that great with the stainless steel or steel ball bearings, the 1/2-inch steel ball bearings. I bought a holster a while back for my Byrna SD. This is an outside the waistband paddle holster. It's from Tactical Scorpion Gear. I think it was like $20. This is for the Byrna SD. It can fit the LE and other. It's pretty much all I have like that will fit this. But the Gen 1 fits this perfectly. It doesn't come out, and you have to push the button to take the little lock that goes on the trigger guard. You have to push the button to take it out. And it also works perfectly fine with the Gen 2. So this holster works, but it's outside the waistband, so it's not concealable unless you wear like giant, huge, baggy sweatshirt or something over it, or you're like living in cold weather and you have like a thick jacket or something. But that's just one holster. I don't have tons of these. I think I have like the Burna SD belt soft holster, and that fits both of these pretty good. But I can't run it with a light or with a speed loader on the front. So that's just some of the differences between the Gen 1 and Gen 2. So out the box, you don't have to mod this, and it works pretty damn good. You get decent power. It costs the same as the Gen 1. And for the Gen 1, you have, if you want it to hit harder, because out the box it's only 7.5 joules, this is at 13 out the box. So the basic mod that you would do to this is pull the valve block and put a CO2 restrictor in the handle, and you'll get it to be about 13 joules. That's already completed with the Generation 2 HDP50. So if you want to, if you've been eyeing one of these and you don't know which one to get, I would get the Gen 2 because it's already modified the way you would modify this one, unless you're putting like a giant barrel on the front, like a giant extra barrel, and you want to do like the HPA tap and all that crazy stuff you can do to these. If you just want to keep it small, keep it stock, and not have to do anything to it, just get the Generation 2 13 joules. Make sure it's 13 joules. The box will say 13 joules, or the velocity will say like 485 feet per second will be advertised on the box. These advertised on the box, I think it said like 360 feet per second. So yeah, I would go with this one. The detent is better. It's already modified the way you would want it, and you can easily make it stronger by just removing that little CO2 restrictor with the flathead screwdriver. And the strike cap is better. It has the texture on the handle, and yeah, just overall it's a pretty good improvement over the Gen 1. I still like my Gen 1s. I'm probably gonna either give these to my brothers, or I have a couple coworkers that they want less lethals and they don't really know what to buy or whatever. So these are pretty cheap, $100, and yeah, I'll probably either give them away to a couple of my friends or to my family members. So I'm still thinking of who to give these to, and I kind of want to make them. I kind of want to put restrictors in the handles, but I need to talk to who I'm going to give them to first before I buy another power kit for these. But yeah, that's just a general breakdown of the Gen 1s versus the Gen 2s. Obviously, the Gen 1s don't have these stickers on them. I put these on myself, and they don't come with this speed loader. So this is kind of what you're looking at as far as Gen 1 versus Gen 2. So just some slight differences in the outside of the pistols themselves. Trigger guard's shaped a little bit differently, has this contour on the grip, the handle, the ridges on the front, the warning label is down here. But they both load 6 shots. They both use 12 gram CO2s. They both have fiber optic sights. And I don't know if I'm going to dye this one yet. Maybe I'll make it like dark red or something. Don't need to do anything to it. It's fine the way it is. And I like to keep stuff compact, so I'm not going to be putting an airline out the back or air tank thing out the back, or like have the giant barrel coming out the front. It's just not my style, I guess. I'd rather leave these compact because yeah, these are good little less lethals or like home protection type of stuff. So yeah, I haven't had any problems with either of these. The only thing I had an issue was with the detent on the Gen 1s. Snapped in like 100 shots. Pretty trash. Gen 2, no issues. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just, the only drawback is you only get 6 shots. And then you have to pull this follower up, load up more balls, and then push this guide back down. You can kind of reload faster with the speed loader, but kind of statistically, you're not going to need to reload if you ever have to use these in a emergency, because these are more just to disorient somebody or to give you just an extra couple seconds to do something else, run away, get something else, you know, to disarm someone or escape. So yeah, overall, all of them are good. But if you don't want to do anything to yours, if you just want to buy something and have it work pretty well, I would just get the Gen 2. If you like to tinker around with stuff, you could still get the Gen 2. But if you really want to make a PEX pipe detent, pull the valve block out yourself, buy a power kit for this, and do whatever else, a magnet catch and all that stuff, which I have in all these, go ahead and get the Gen 1 and do all that stuff yourself. But save yourself some time and headache. Just get a Gen 2. And yeah, there's a magnet underneath here to pull steel ball bearings up into the breech. That's a whole other subject. But these are 50 cal balls, and this is a 68 caliber ball. So something comparable to this would be like the Saber home defense launcher, which uses these. And then Salt Supply S2 would be using these. Salt Supply S2 is like $230. This is like $100. And the Saber and the Salt Supply, so far the Salt Supply has been like better to me. The Saber has had a couple random little issues. If I use 2 CO2s in a row, it kind of locks up on that second CO2. It'll fart a little bit. But like I said earlier, realistically, you're not going to be reloading stuff and shooting like multiple CO2s and multiple magazines. That's just kind of like for target practice and stuff. That's an instance when you'd be using it or just practicing with it. But yeah, for less lethal, these are pretty good. Burnett SD is like $380. So, I mean, if you have the money and you want to spend it and you like that pull to pierce kind of action, go ahead, buy that. But yeah, this is pretty cool. You can buy 3 or 4 of these at the cost of one Burnett SD. And yeah, pretty reliable. I haven't had any problems with it farting or not wanting to fire or something like that. They've always worked. The only problem I had was detent breaking, and that basically means the balls will just roll out the front of the barrel. But that issue is taken care of now. And yeah, now I'm just kind of rambling. So anyways, guys, hopefully that you got like a general idea of what these do, differences between them, accessories that work for them, shot counts, I don't know, other ways you can run these with and without restrictors, with and without valve blocks, different air sources you can use for them. They work fine on HPA air tanks, and they work fine on CO2. You don't have to like only use CO2. You can use air tanks, but you do need to buy accessories to allow you to use those air tanks. So if you guys have any questions or whatever, send it in comments, or you can email me. My email is on my channel description. And yeah, sorry this took 28 minutes, but yeah, have a good one.